Since the original Xperia Z, Sony has really been stepping up its game, but will its latest flagship be enough to take down the other Android titans like Samsung and HTC? This is Ed from TechSource, and let's unbox this and find out. So the Z2 comes in 3 available colors, black, white, and purple, and you can pick up an unlocked version for only $660. I will leave links below if you're interested, but before we move on with the unboxing, let's take a quick look at the specs. The Z2 comes rocking a Snapdragon 801 chip running a 2.3 GHz quad-core processor, along with an Adreno 330 graphics processor. The battery has also been upgraded to 3200 mAh, which can last you up to 690 hours on standby time and about 15 hours of talk time. One more thing to note before I move on is that the Z2 is also waterproof with a rating of IP58 that has become a standard for almost all Sony phones, and the device can be submerged 1 meter underwater for as long as 30 minutes according to Sony. So removing the cover, we are greeted with the Z2, but before we take a closer look at it, let's see what else the phone comes with. So they included a standard USB charging brick and earphones. It's good to see that Sony threw in some earphones, even though a lot of people tend to use their own. It's really nice to have spares. Even though there is no volume control, you can accept calls because it has a built-in microphone. Lastly, they included the micro USB cable for charging and transferring files, along with some warranty info and paperwork. Since the phone is waterproof and dust resistant, there are flaps that cover the ports on the phone. Sony has brought back the famous design signatures from the Z1, which are the dedicated power button, volume rockers, and the silver power button. They also brought back the micro SD card slot, but instead increased the maximum expansion size to 128 GB instead of the 64. Both the micro SD card slot and the SIM slot have these trays which can be pulled out for convenience. The microphone is located on the bottom of the phone along with some lanyard holes. On the opposite side, you will find the charging pins, which are used to dock the phone for charging, and beneath the flap are the SIM tray and charging port. Unlike the Z1, the Z2 has a slightly bigger screen coming in at 5.2 inches with 424 pixels per inch. The front-facing camera also got an increase in pixels, coming in at 2.2 megapixels. Similar to the M8, Sony has added front-facing stereo speakers, which should be a must to every smartphone at this point. We do have a sample video to share with you guys later in this video. Although there aren't many changes to the camera sensor, the Z2 does come with some cool features, one of which is 4K recording that we will definitely look at later. Other than that, the camera sensor, aperture, and flash are the same as the Z1. And like most Android phones, the Z2 also comes with NFC capabilities. Finally, getting to the handset, we can see that Sony hasn't strayed too far from their already classic omni-balance design, which according to Sony creates a balance and symmetry in all directions of the device. The full glass back on the Z2 leaves you wanting to pick up the phone just to hold it. That combined with its metal skeleton makes this device one of the most premium Android handsets out there, right along with the HTC ONE M8. The 1080p Full HD triluminous display dwarfs the front of the device. One thing to note here is that Sony's been known for their bad smartphone displays, but this one is supposed to be a turn in the right direction, and from first glance it does look really good. The blacks look deep and the screen is very vibrant, definitely a competitor for the best screens out there currently. It's good to see that Sony has addressed a common complaint with previous iterations of Xperia smartphones. Reduce bezels to the left and right of the screen to allow for easier one-handed use. Here is a sample video comparing the speakers on the Z2 to the speakers on the M8. You guys can be the judge here.
It's just a flag.
Alright, laundry, sheriff. You know what it is I love about being Spider-Man?
Watch out!
You okay?
Spider-Man.
Yeah, I know. Costume gives it away, huh, Max?
How do you know my name?
Your badge. Oscorp.
Nobody knows my name. I'm a nobody.
Hey, lick that.
You're my eyes and ears out here.
I'll see you out there.
That must be pretty cool, huh? To have the whole world see you like this. Amazing, Spider-Man.
As you can hear, the results are actually pretty impressive compared to the HTC ONE M8, however it still falls short, but not by that much. Jumping around the UI a little bit here, we can see that the skin has not really changed that much over the years, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. It does, however, feel a little bit snappier than the past versions of the software. You do have an easy access to Google Now from the home key, which is nice to see. The software is not stock, but does add some great value. I definitely see myself using this more than a phone running TouchWiz. So taking a closer look at the phone's 20.7 megapixel sensor, we can see that Sony has included all these special modes, which we will take a closer look at in another video. But one thing to note here is the 4K video option. The camera does look very promising, and we will definitely have to take a closer look at the Z2 camera in a later video, where we are going to put it up against phones like the Galaxy S5, iPhone 5s, and the M8 to see where it stands, but for now, we are left impressed with the quality sensor outputs. I am left at the end of this unboxing satisfied. It might not be a major update over the Z1, but it does improve on everything Sony was criticized on with the Z1. It's not coming to the US anytime soon, and we might get an unlocked model this summer, which is probably going to be really expensive, which is too bad because from my first hands on this phone, it does feel like a worthy Android competitor. This might actually replace my iPhone 5s and become my primary phone, but I will need some time to play with it. But I wanted to hear what you guys think about the Z2. Do any of you own one? And if not, is this a phone that you see yourself purchasing? Let me know in the comment section down below. We do have a bunch of videos coming soon for the Z2, including benchmarks, camera tests, and speed tests, so make sure to subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on the coverage. This is Ed from TechSource, and I will see you next time.